Hi, welcome to Book Bites with Maggie. My name is Maggie and I'm coming to you live from the Evelyn Lehman Culp Heritage Collection that's here in downtown Napanee. I'm going to be filming today's Book Bites episode, Beach Reads, as a destined location similar to going to the beach. This is a place where you can come and visit here in Napanee, and the titles that we're going to be sharing with you today on our Reader's Advisory are Beach Reads. For those of you who are new to Book Bites with Maggie, it is a digital reader's advisory where we're going to highlight some books in our collection, multiple genres, different formats, and if there's any title that stands out to you as something you would like to read, please leave us a comment. Let us know if it's a book that you would like, and we can set it aside for you to pick up at the Napanee Public Library. We can definitely set books aside for you if you're getting ready to go on travels, or if you're already away and enjoying this beautiful weather we're having. We do have some digital services as well. Hoopla and Libby are both apps that you have access to with your Napanee Public Library card, and you can download e-content, e-books, e-magazines, e-movies, music, and books as well. So these are available to you. As we're going through our stack of our books today, I will try to mention if they come in alternate formats, that way you can get them into your hands in whatever way is easiest for you. This one has been super popular here at the Napanee Public Library. This one is Beach Read by Emily Henry, and it kind of made a huge splash all over social media when it came out. And it is a very cute book. It is a romance that takes place where two people who really dislike each other and are polar opposite find themselves living next door to each other on a temporary basis. They take a means of trying to swap storylines as writers to try to get into the head of each other. And in the meantime, it's an opposite attracts storyline, Seaside, where they fall in love in a beach setting. So this is Beach Read by Emily Henry. We have this as a book, an ebook, and an e-audio book, and it is an open door romance. The second title that I have for you today is Anne Marie Walker's Happy Singles Day. This one was a super cute story. It comes from two points of view, and it follows our professional home organizer and a single dad in two different storylines. And the professional organizer, she's ready for a break, and so she finds and books a seaside cottage as a place to get away, not realizing that she has booked from somebody who doesn't know she is coming. So in our main character here, Paige is going to be renting this location here from him, and his cottage was actually put up as a rentable location by his sister, unbeknownst to him. So when Paige shows up, it sets off a whole storyline of fun. And so this is another rom-com that is super cute for the summer, beachside. However, there is a hurricane in this story, so hopefully you don't run into any hurricanes in your travels this summer. This we have as a book, an ebook, and an e-audio book. This was one of my favorite books from 2019. This is the first book in a duology. That means it's a two-book series. Daughter of a Pirate King by Trisha Lavenseller follows a 17-year-old girl who is a female pirate. Her father is the Pirate King, and she is set out to make herself known in the pirate world. She even plans her own kidnapping so that she could be placed on a pirate ship to try to steal some treasure of an opposing ship crew. And in this first book here, you're really getting to know Alusa and what drives her. And it's easy to envision kind of a Pirates of the Caribbean cast, and she sets out to just create and overtake the pirate world where she lives and to set forth and give women lots of power. So it's a feminist story. It's super good. And this one actually kept my attention so much that I jumped in the middle of the night when I was reading it, and that doesn't always happen. So this is the first book. The second book is almost a direct continuation, and that is Daughter of a Siren Queen. So you're going to find out that Alusa, she's not only a daughter of a pirate, but she's also the daughter of a siren. So it's a really wonderful story, a little bit of fantasy mixed in, but high action, and you just want to root for all of the characters in this. In this duology, we have it as a physical book. In our teen section, we also have it as an ebook and an e-audio title. Next, we're going to read a book here about, it's the first one in the Bluebell Romance series. This is a trilogy by Denise Hunter. Lake Season follows three siblings in each book. So you're going to get The first book here, this one, it follows Molly, and then her brother and her sister each have their own books as well. But it all takes place on a lake. And the parents of these three siblings tragically pass away in a car accident. And when they pass away, the teens kind of raise themselves. They take care of one another, they support one another, and it's their parents' desire to turn their historical home where they're raising their family into an income, and to create an inn where they can then like loan out space to people who are visiting. And so these siblings, as they're growing and they're mourning, they're also going through a giant renovation on this this house where they live, and they're turning it into the bed and breakfast that their parents had always dreamed of. You have multiple storylines going on. One inside of this book, it also follows a gentleman who writes under a pen name, but is a very famous author. And he is trying to get some anonymity, and he goes to stay at this bed and breakfast where these where the siblings are living and fixing up this home, and doesn't realize that Molly is a huge fan of his work. So there's a storyline with that going on, but the overarching storyline of the kids each finding somebody to share their lives with, and the story of coming together with their inn that they are flipping. So this is Lake Season. It is the first book in a trilogy of 3, the Bluebell Inn romance series. It is an inspirational fiction titled With a Closed Door Romance. We have this available as a book and an ebook. The next one really gave me some Law and Order SVU vibes when I read it. This is Saint X by Alexis. I don't even know if I'm going to say this right. Shayakin, hopefully, is the author. There is some suspense to it, and it feels like it was like a ripped from the store of the headlines type of story. So, what was that girl's name that was all over the news when she like disappeared?
Elizabeth Smart?
No.
I don't know.
Like from the islands. I was gonna compare it to that.
I'm not sure.
All you need was Anne Hathaway, and that is so not right. Anyway, it's like a rip from the headline storyline. This is gonna follow a very close-knit family, or who they believe is a close-knit family, and they go on a summer vacation down to St. X Island, down in the Caribbean, and on the very last day of their family vacation, the oldest daughter goes missing. And so it's the police reaction to what is happening. It's them not being at the place where they call home. And then as the story kind of breaks open and you're discovering more and more about the characters and how they all tie together, about the local people and how they tie into this disappearance, you really feel like this could be a true story, even though it is fiction. Now, our main character, she is going to be 7 years old when her sister disappears. Her sister's 18. So as a 7-year-old, she has no grasp on who her sister really is and the identity that she is growing into herself. And so you're gonna follow this family for multiple years, and you're gonna go back and forth between the day of her disappearance and the family vacation leading up to it, and then where Clara is now. I think her name is Claire. Where Clara is now. And so it's that back and forth pull, and you're getting both sides, you're getting multiple points of view, and then there's even some journal entries that you're gonna get from the girl who is missing. So the storyline does all come together. I felt like the ending was a little bit slow compared to the rest of the book, but this is Saint X, and we have it available as a book, an ebook, and an e-audiobook. The next one here, just like the first, was one that was highly sought after. If you are a fan of Taylor Jenkins Reid, this one has definitely already been on your radar. Malibu Rising came out a couple of years ago from the author of Daisy Jones and the Six, Evelyn Hugo. What are some of our other popular ones? I mean, she's got oodles. Forever Interrupted. But this is gonna follow a whole new set of characters. This follows 4 siblings who have a very famous father. They also become famous in their own light. One is a professional surfer, one is a very talented surfer, one's a supermodel, one's a professional photographer. And these siblings, they're kind of, they were raised in such a way that they were always splashed everywhere. So no matter what they did, it was on the cover of magazines due to their father's notoriety. Meanwhile, their mom is suffering from lots of mental illness. She comes and goes as she pleases, and the kids are kind of forced to raise themselves and to raise each other. And so this is the story of 4 different siblings, and they every year throw this giant end of summer bash in August as summer is ending, and it is lakeside. And this year, 2 of those siblings, they absolutely want nothing to do with celebrating the end of summer. They're just kind of over it. They've all been burned in their own ways, and as adults, to leave and displace themselves for summer is very unique compared to the lives that they lived growing up. And so they're just kind of feeling about having this end of year party. But as the storyline keeps going, you get all the way through the end of the night, and there are people that are dead. There are people that are missing. There are people that they don't know where they're at, and the house is in flames. So it is a quick read. It is world building. It is back in the 1960s, I believe. No, 1983. And so you don't have all the technology and all the social media elements of it. And so I really enjoyed reading a more recent historical fiction book and delving into what society was like for some famous children. So this is Malibu Rising. We do have it as a book, an ebook, an e-audiobook, and if you still have a disc player, we also have it as a book on CD. Many of the books that we are talking about today would also fit for our Expand Your Horizons task list. One of the tasks that we have this year is to read a book that is by or about water. So with many of our storylines taking place near water, a lot of these books would fit that task. So if there's any books, again, that stick out to you, you'd like to leave a comment, we can set them aside for you. Or as always, you can stop in and see us at the library and you can pick up those materials. The On Honeymooners was a book that really gave me some Doris Day vibes. So if you're familiar with that kind of comedy, this was a wonderful book that really kind of made me think of like a modern day Doris Day. Christina Lauren is the first names of 2 best friends that write together. This is going to be a rom-com that's about 2 twins, one who finds herself being extremely lucky and the other one who sees herself far from being lucky. And so as you're following these 2 twins, you get to see the sense of how similar they are, but how different they are at the same time. So our one twin, she is like so lucky that she has literally won every portion of her wedding, from the location to the food to the venue to her gown to her cake, everything. She's won it through doing all these different types of like online games and things. So as the story is building up, they get to the wedding and the food is tainted and everybody in the wedding party gets sick. Okay, everybody except for the maid of honor and the best man. Now, in our story, our lucky twin, if you will, is flat on her back. She is sicker than a dog, and so is her soon-to-be husband. But their honeymoon was paid for and was won through all of these things that she did. And so they send these people who absolutely hate each other on their Hawaii honeymoon for them. And you would think that'd be pretty easy. They can just go on vacation, right? Simple storyline. But it is far from that when our main character, Olive, actually runs into her future boss. And her little tiny white lie about why she is in Hawaii with somebody she really can't stand turns into a giant snowball effect. So it is just hilarious. It is a really good enemies to lovers trope. And if you are familiar at all with Doris Day and some of the humor that comes from her movies, this would be a really good storyline for you. It is an open door romance, but it is super fun. The next book series that I have for you, this is the first one in the summer series by Jenny Han. If you're going to be very familiar with her, just last year, maybe longer than that, she wrote the P.S. I Love You series that was turned into some movies on Netflix. This is one of her earlier works. This is The Summer I Turned Pretty, and it has 2 more books that go after it. And it is about cousins, which is a fictitious beach where her mom and her mom's childhood best friend go every single summer. And so these 2 women, they go to this beach house every single summer and they each bring their 2 kids with them. And it is just something that every summer is expected, that they are going to go to cousins and they're going to just enjoy their summer on the beach. and what happens when kids who are almost raised as siblings get into a love triangle. This is a book that kept me going, and I literally read all 3 books back to back to back, and then just shortly after realized that it had been optioned for film and is going to be in Amazon Prime, turned it into a series that's going to come out next month in June. So if you like to read before you watch it, we do have all 3 books currently in our collection. If you would like to read them, I did feel like it could be just one giant book that was just spliced in half. So you want to make sure you grab all of them so you can continue on the storyline. However, it's going to jump forwards and backwards between childhood and current day and childhood and current day. So you get that buildup of all of the characters. But you're not going to want to stop reading when you get to the end of one book. You're going to want to jump in right into the next one. So it comes out in June on film, but if you want to grab those books first, you're welcome to do so. We do only have it available as a physical book. And when I left the library to come over here, we did still have all 3 books on our shelves. The next title that I have for you is from Reese's Book Club. She is currently in production with, what's her movie? All I can think of is Swamp Girl. Where the Crawdads Sing. There we go. Okay, she is the, Where the Crawdads Sing. Have you seen?
I didn't know that was being turned into a movie.
It is. It's being turned into a movie. Okay, so that one gave me strong vibes to read this book. So this one also follows a girl who is kind of displaced from society. She is raised on a very isolated island with her dad. Her dad is the inventor of like a scent machine. So when you're saying scent, like your nose, the things that bring back memories. He's designed a machine where he can encapsulate smells and the triggers and the memories that those create. And he has built this giant wall in their cabin on this island where each drawer has a memory, a scent inside of it. And the storyline builds, but this girl, she understands that scent is so powerful, and she learns about the flora and the fauna around her on this isolated island, but unbeknownst to her, she's going to be thrust into mainstream society, and she's going to have to kind of make her way far from the place where she was raised and where she grew up. So The Scent Keeper by Erica Brewmeister, again, is a Reese's Book Club pick from a couple years back, but Emmeline and Fisher, they're going to totally jump into your hearts, and you're going to forever remember these characters. I have my own guess that if Where the Crawdads Sing makes as big of a splash on screen as everybody's kind of expecting it to be, that this might be another book that gets optioned for film as well. So you want to get ahead of that if you want to read The Scent Keeper. We have this available as a book, an ebook, and an e-audiobook. Another one that I have is not new to Book Bites. This is The Siren by Kira Cass. Kira Cass is the author of the Selection series, and this is also world building, but it's kind of fantasy. So it's a little bit different than the Selection series. Our main characters are still teenagers, but in The Siren, this is a standalone book. It's not part of a series at all, but it is about Kaylin, and she's just a teenage girl who got thrown into the ocean during an accident, and she offers her life to live for the ocean and to become a siren and to lure people, along with the legend, to lure people into the ocean. In this story, it's kind of unique because the ocean is its own entity. Whenever the ocean is speaking, she's given a voice, she's given a pronoun. Her ocean is capitalized like a name. There is narrative back and forth between Kaylin and the ocean and the other sirens. And it's very unique to have a body of water given life elements. And Kaylin kind of has this realization that she gave her life to the ocean so that the ocean can be fed by more and more humans. So her goal is to feed the ocean these people. And her voice is what is going to lure them to the water. So when Kaylin is walking around, she doesn't age, she doesn't change at all. She's serving a 100-year sentence to feed the ocean. She is not able to use her voice. So she uses American Sign Language to communicate to the people around her that she needs to, or she just uses her eyes to kind of communicate. And Kaylin is just she's okay. She's ready just to serve her purpose, and then she gets her life back and she can start completely over after 100 years. But her family is going to age just like they would have normally. So 100 years later, all the people that she loved before she became a siren are going to be long since gone. So it kind of has that Tuck Everlasting feel to it, where there are some people that are aging and there are some people that are not. Kaylin is absolutely fine with her life as being a siren. It was something she chose until she meets a boy. And this boy, she has to decide whether or not he is worth leaving and losing everything for, or if she's going to continue to serve her sentence as a siren. So Kira Cass totally world builds in this story, but it's completely different than the Selection series. So this one we have available as a book, an ebook, and an e-audio book, and the Siren is going to give you all kinds of feels as your beachside this summer. Now, all of these books I have read, so the one that I'm looking forward to reading the most for myself for this summer is One Italian Summer by Rebecca Storelli. And this one is about a mother and a daughter that are going to kind of find each other in a new place and in a new time. And it kind of feels like, when I'm reading the reviews, that the daughter is going to get to know and understand her mom from a teenage standpoint, or from a young woman's standpoint. So I'm looking forward to reading this one this summer. If you have already read it, I'd love to hear what you think about it as I get ready to delve into this one for the summer for myself. One Italian Summer is one that we're going to only have available as an ebook, an e-audiobook, and a book on CD. So if any of these titles stood out to you and you'd be interested in checking them out, leave a comment and we would be happy to set them aside for you. And hopefully we will see you in the next couple of weeks here at the Napanee Public Library or at the Evelyn Lehman Culp Heritage Collection. Thanks so much for joining us today. Our next episode is going to be featuring books about foster care and adoption. Have a good weekend.